We are two grumpy people with another 10 list. Today's topic is
all the various ways that you can get money together to afford your trip to Disney.
woo!
Yeah, because we were talking the other day, having read some comments online from people who were saying, well, you know, they're more working class, they're poor, and they can't afford to go to Disney World. And that's a good point, really, because not everybody can afford to just take a vacation once a year, you know. Some of us have to save for a couple years, and even then you might think, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it happen. So
Very true.
Yeah. I think between us we came up with about 11 ideals, so one extra. You get a bonus this time, folks.
Bonus idea.
Don't get used to it. Most of these ideals we actually got from people online, like from their comments. But a few of them we generate ourselves, and there's been a couple that we've actually, well, more than a couple that we've actually used ourselves.
Yes. Also tip boards.
Oh yeah, the tip board. The tip board's always great. Yeah. We got to make sure to mention some of those today. Let's list those for people. Okay, so the reason we got started thinking about this issue was that Disney posted on Facebook about their savings plan that they have. And so a lot of people were posting various concerns on there, questions, comments, criticisms, and were wondering if this was really a good way to save for a trip.
Well, first we'll start with their savings program, and I will describe it out for you a little bit. The Disney savings account, or whatever they want to go as the title, is an account you can set up through the Walt Disney Company's website, and it's officially through them, and it's a place where you can use it essentially like a digital piggy bank. You can put in a set amount of money, and you can let it build up. Each month you can put in a certain amount. You can also add to it as you can to essentially add up to enough to pay for your Disney trip. And then right from their website you can also then, when you book your trip or your resort or whatever, you can then take the money from that account straight into to pay for that trip. And it's a very great, easy way to save. It's all done on their system. Makes things very simple through bank accounts or credit cards, however you want to pay. And it's been around for several years now. At this point, it's been around, I have to say, about 3 years or so. And it's a great system for anyone who wants essentially just a digital penny bank. There's no interest that builds up on it, but there is one really neat feature. It is for every every $1,000 you spend on booking your trip through them and using the savings account, you then get an extra $20 bonus.
Well, it's a gift certificate.
Gift certificate. $20 gift certificate. And then the grand total, if you were to spend enough, you could get up to $500. And so
that's an incentive to save.
Very big
a little
incentive
extra.
there.
The pros and the cons. The cons are, it doesn't draw interest. There's no interest.
No interest. It's not like a regular savings account.
Right.
It's just like a penny bank, essentially.
And if you want to get your money back out of it, you may have to wait 7 days.
On the pro side of it, though, there's no fees. There is no fee even if you want to take your money out and you don't use it for your trip. And you can pull it out essentially at any time, even if there is a couple of days or a week delay.
Yeah. So if something came up, like someone got ill, or you had major car troubles or something like that, where you had to come
situation.
up with the money, you could take your money back out of that account, and there's no penalty or fees or anything like that. There's no fees at all on that account, so I think that's pretty good, because even my checking account, you know, I have some fees associated with it. So that's good.
Yeah, even a prepaid debit card will have fees.
Yeah.
But another con, unfortunately, though, is that unlike certain other ways that you could save, this one, it's only whoever sets up the account can deposit into the account.
Yeah.
It's not where anyone in the party can just throw in money however. That's the sad part. But
now, one concern that some people expressed online was that they felt like, well, they are giving free money to Disney to do with as they please, like an interest-free loan.
yeah.
Until they withdrew it. So I actually did some research on that, and actually Disney doesn't get any interest on that money. It's kept in a separate bank account that is a non-interest bearing bank account. It's the kind of account, now if you think about it, hopefully most of you have not ever been involved in a situation like this, but sometimes renters get into disagreements with their landlords.
Yes.
For instance, this is an example, and so if they go to an attorney or something, the attorney will always, or the housing administration office or whatever, will always advise them to go ahead and make the payment, but don't make it to the landlord, put it in an account. It's usually called an escrow account. And so this is a non-interest bearing account. No one gets interest on it. Nobody gets to use it. Even the bank doesn't get to use it for banking purposes. But that's a way of guaranteeing that the money's there and that you're honestly paying. So it's the same kind of account that they're using for your funds. No one makes money on the account. I mean, I'm sure that Disney probably pays some fee to the bank in order to operate this account. But they don't draw any interest off of it, and the bank doesn't get to use it for their purposes either. And it is FDIC insured.
FDIC.
Yes. Did I say that wrong?
You said FT, but FD.
FDIC. So it's FDIC insured. So it's safer than putting your money in a mattress or in a hole in the ground or keep it, and a lot of us, especially those of us who are in the lower income brackets, we live in neighborhoods or in households where it may not be safe to have more than $20, $30 hanging around your house. And if you're planning for Disney, you're probably trying to save at least $1,000 to $3,000, and you probably don't want that kind of cash just in a cookie jar in the house.
Yeah, not only do you have a possibility with thieves, whether they're in your home or someone who breaks in, but also you're more likely to spend it if it's right there in front of you. There is that downside.
Now, I was kind of thinking about that with a lot of these ideals that we came up with, ways to save. The big benefit of using them is that you're completely you're embargoing your money. You're putting it in a separate little account that's completely divided.
Yeah, you're separating yourself from your money.
Yeah, so there's less temptation to spend it for all the little 8,001 things that come up every day. And it's easier to, I think, to discipline yourself to save regularly because you have something formal set up.
Yep.
So that's one benefit. It's $10 is the minimum. So that's pretty. Most of us can start.
Most checking accounts will barely start at $10.
Yeah,
so.
A lot of them will require you to put like $300 or more in to start. So that's pretty good. And there's no minimum monthly. You can set up an automatic payment. Like you can say, okay, I want to put $25 a month away for the next 3 years, and you can do that, and it'll just automatically take it from your account. Or you could go online and deposit pretty much as much or as little as you want. So you could set up to do like a monthly $10, $25 deposit automatically, and then say you get your tax return. So you put some of that in there, or you have a big bake sale, you put some of that in there. So any little extra money, gifts or whatever that you get, you could add to your regular savings.
You can do both. You can do a monthly automatic as well as you feel like it add on.
And if you say that you want to go on a vacation this year, and you've saved $3,000, but you're taking a very short, very budget kind of trip, and you end up only spending $1,500. The other $1,500 can stay in there for next year. And you can continue adding to it. So it's really, this is a really flexible account. So I think it's a pretty good thing for those of us who have a little more difficulty saving.
It is flexible, but I believe, correct me if you remember differently, that there is kind of like a 5-year time limit or something like that.
I think it was for 3 years.
A 3-year time limit.
Yeah, that was the maximum that you could save for at one time, which kind of makes sense. If it's more than 3 years, the odd. Well, if it's more than 3 years, you probably should be putting it in a regular savings account. If you can save for more than 3 years, you're a lot better than I am, because I tend to every year to 2 years have some major expense come up, and all my best intentions just go out the window.
But that is something to keep in mind in case it is important to you.
Yeah, exactly. You could always put it in for 3 years, and then if you find that you've been real good about saving and you've got a nice little chunk in there, take it out and put it in a interest-bearing account where it'll make money for you. So, it's flexible that way.
Exactly. That's the best part.
Yeah. And then you just start another one. Because it doesn't say that you can't open another one after you end one. So.
That's true.
You only get the $20 gift card if you spend the money that you withdraw on Disney purchases.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
If you take the money out for cash to spend for something else, you don't get the $20. Okay.
It's kind of like a rebate card more than anything.
And they also said that if you, once you made your reservations and everything, so you paid out of your account and you didn't get your $20 gift certificates, and then you like get your money back or whatever,
If you try to.
what they'll do is, first of all, you won't be able to get any more gift certificates, and then they reserve the right, they can cancel the gift certificates you already have, and they can even cancel your account.
Yeah.
So, no cheating.
Yeah, no trying to cheat to get $20.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
There's better ways to get $20 than.
Yeah. There's all kinds of little ways to get little Disney gift cards.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that one we spent a little bit of time on. Another way that some of the people on there were saying, well, this is a bad program because it doesn't pay interest or anything like that. Some of the people were saying, well, a better way to go is the Disney credit card. Now, I don't know a lot about the Disney credit card, except that I don't qualify.
The Disney Visa card by Chase currently, it's just like any other credit card. It's just backed by Disney. It has the Disney logo on it, and you get special deals and discounts for Disney products and trips and resorts. Just like any other brand name credit card type system, a lot of companies. Lowe's has a credit card. They have their own, but they also have one that's backed by like Visa and whatnot. It's the same kind of thing. You get deals and discounts from Disney, but it's basically just a regular credit card. There's not a whole lot of special things about that.
Well, what they were saying was they have a deal where they get like the first 60 or 90 days interest free. So it's kind of like an interest free loan or something. I have to say, it's probably a good deal for those who do qualify, who can afford it. They actually have a decent interest rate when I checked it out before.
Yeah.
But then again, credit cards with decent interest rates and high charge amounts tend to require a little better credit than most of us in the lower income brackets have. So I don't think we should go into that one a whole lot. I think we should leave that to people who are a little more expert in credit cards and credit and things like that. So, but just letting you know that that's out there. That's an option, and some people say it's a better option.
For some people, it might be.
Yeah, I can't really comment on that. I've never had the Disney credit card. I had other credit cards, and I've used those.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's talk about a credit card that we can recommend for those of us in the more working classes. One of the ideals that you had mentioned even was the
prepaid. It might be hard to see because of green screen here.
Yeah, put it in front of your shirt. I don't know, it probably still disappeared because it's green.
But I'll show the back. Here you go. It's
there
white.
You go.
The prepaid Visa or whatever brand credit card, debit card.
Right.
These are the reloadable option, although you can get ones that aren't, but I don't see the point.
Yeah.
But these are great. You can get them anywhere just about. They have them on clip strips everywhere. You can get them for set amounts, whether $25, $50, $100, or you can get the reloadable ones where you can do essentially the same thing, where you can get savings and you can just sort of put on a little bit at a time, $5, $10,
and so
let it build up.
The benefit of doing that over just saving cash is for people like us, what we were saying about sort of segregating your funds and earmarking it ahead of time. So each time you buy one of these, you're buying a specific card. It's just for your vacation. You can put it away in like a special envelope or file folder or something like that. And so it's just a little way of helping you keep track of your savings and can keep it separate and motivate you, because as you go you can see how many you have and as they're stacking up. They're also great because you can actually use them to directly purchase the tickets or whatever, reserve a hotel or whatever, because they are a credit card.
Yes.
Also, if they're lost or stolen, unlike cash, you can get the money back if you right away call the number.
Yes.
Make sure that you copy down all of the numbers
Yes, you
for
have to
your
get the
credit
entire
cards
credit card number across the front
and the
back.
little security codes,
Security
and
code.
make sure you record the date you bought them and where you bought them from, because sometimes they need that information.
Also, most of them, especially nowadays, have a way you register with the company that the credit card comes from, so that they can keep track of it as well.
Yeah,
Plus, sometimes
the vanilla
that's
cards
required.
definitely have that
Sometimes it's required to use them.
to activate
so
them.
just
Yeah.
keep that in mind as well. There is one other thing. Yes, it's great for segregating, but if you want to get a little silly or you want to keep it more Disney themed, a lot of stores
Yeah.
will sell the Disney gift cards themselves, which
Yeah.
you can use as well.
Which is the same thing. It's a all these credit cards are all. If you look on the front, it says
Gift card.
All the gift cards are credit cards are gift cards. That's how they work.
Yeah, it works all the same way.
Just be careful. Make sure you get one that's backed by a national company, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, one of these, Bank of America or whatever. Because if you get one of the less known ones, some places won't take them,
Yeah.
or you may have a hard time getting your money back if they're stolen or whatever.
Also, one more thing to keep in mind, while you can use them to book your hotel rooms and stuff like that, when you are booking things through the Disney website, you can't use multiple payment methods for
That's
it.
true. So you need to have
Either a
one that
large
you can
enough one
consolidate them on.
or maybe buy things in smaller chunks, one ticket at a time.
Well, one thing you can do too with that is if you buy, I know in the vanilla, the Visa,
vanilla.
you can go online and you can like put more on it and stuff. So you can like consolidate them.
Yes.
So if you have a whole bunch of $25 ones, you can put them together, something like that.
Yes.
The other good thing with these is that you can let your family know that you're saving, family and friends and stuff. So if you have a birthday, anniversary, wedding, what have you, that someone might want to buy you a gift, instead of buying you something else, they can buy you a nice Disney gift card, and you can add it to your savings for your trip. So that's kind of a nice thing, and they can put in a little cute holder and stuff like that. So that's nice. So that was one ideal. Of course, you can always go with a regular savings account.
Yeah.
And they'll just give you a little passport book. It'll just like a checkbook. Okay. Don't give
It's
my
just
number
a
away.
blank.
Okay.
Just the blank
Don't
ones.
give my account number away.
Just the blank ones.
The thing you need to be careful about with the regular credit accounts is that they're often associated with your checking account.
Yeah, a lot of times
So-
they are.
Funds can kind of go back and forth, and so for me, that's not enough of a segregation. I have to have a completely separate savings account.
You can always open one at another bank or just a separate account entirely. That's
Or
not
if you
tied
have,
to yours.
there are a couple of them that are just online, like the military has USAA.
Yep, there's USAA and then there's a few other ones.
I think there's a couple of others. I can't recall, but so yeah, I was gonna say if you're gonna do that, I would try to get one that's completely separate. You also have to be careful, kind of shop around, because some of them have high fees or early withdrawal penalties or things like that. And then you have to also be careful of the tax issue, because if you're taking out $3,000 at once, you're probably gonna get hit with a secondary tax.
Possibly.
So you're paying taxes on your money twice. So be careful about that sort of thing.
Also keep in mind on how many transactions can occur on a savings account. A lot of them limited to only one or two a month or kind of thing like that. And so if you're putting in $5 or $10 7 times a month, you might hit a limit.
Also, something that I ran into that I had no idea about, back when we were fixing up our house, I
Yes.
discovered that post 911, some certain laws changed. And I had a $30,000 bonus in the bank that I couldn't withdraw to fix up my house all at once. They said they wouldn't. There was a cap on how much you could take out at once, which I
Yes.
thought was ridiculous, but that was the rule. So savings accounts are handled a little bit differently than checking accounts are. For some silly reason, you can't take out as much all at once. So check with the bank ahead of time. Establish how much you're probably going to be saving, and make sure that you're going to be able to withdraw your funds in time to make your vacation plans and take your vacation. Also, be careful. In some of them, if you take out all the money, so as the account will be closed, they actually hit you with a pretty big penalty for that too. So just things to keep in mind. But the good thing about it is you get interest.
Yes. There is a small amount of
That's
interest.
not. If you're going to be saving for a couple years or more, that's probably worthwhile then to go with something like that.
Yes.
With an interest-bearing account.
So just to wrap that one up, make sure you check with the bank to discuss any fees and limitations on the account, to make sure you don't hit those at the wrong time and get surprises.
Yeah, that would be not fun. And then some of them, if you ask for too much at once, they'll make you wait a certain period of time. You know, you request that, okay, come back in 24 hours, and you're like, I kind of need it now.
Yes.
So make sure that you've got time to do it before you leave. So, okay, that's savings account. Okay, this is a kind of interesting one. Have you ever heard of the term egg money?
I have heard of it.
Okay. I used to think it meant the same thing as the old cookie jar fund, but it's a little bit different.
A little different.
The term or egg money, I should say, the term egg money came back in the day when wives needed money for household expenses and things. They couldn't get jobs. I remember back in the day, it was very difficult for women to find jobs at all, and it was kind of frowned upon. So women tended to do things like let out their rooms, take in ironing, sew, whatever the benefit, and a lot of them sold eggs because you can raise chickens in your backyard or whatever. And then whatever money they made from selling the eggs, they could then use to help the household. So that became known as egg money. And most women kept their egg money in the cookie jar or where have you, But they over time they could save up a nice little nest egg. Funny that those two terms are related, right? So when we say egg money for Disney, we mean all these little things that you can do to make extra money beyond your normal paycheck or benefit check or whatever you get. So things like yard sales.
Yes, yard sales are a great one. Collecting recycling.
Yes,
a lot of times that's a big one.
Several people name that. Now here it's kind of different because in New York we pay a deposit on our sodas and things, and then we turn the whole can back in. But in a lot of places, like when we lived in Arizona, New Mexico, you could smash them up. And so you found a lot of times you'd find them on the side of the road. People would go and get them from dumpsters,
wherever.
Collect them at work, wherever, and then you could just get a big bag full and take them in and turn them in. And instead of spending that money immediately on groceries or something that it won't really make a dent, add it to your little egg money. You can have like a little jar and mark it egg money, Disney trip money, whatever.
Yes.
And just start keeping it that way. Or each time you do it, you can convert it to a gift card.
Yes,
Same
put
thing.
it in the savings account or
Put it
whatever.
in the savings account, in your Disney account, whatever it is. But this is a great way to get money for a trip because what you're doing is when you're making the money, you're automatically telling yourself, this money has nothing to do with the household. This is just for my Disney trip. So you tend not to then already have it earmarked for bills and things, which, as we know, most of the time any money you get, you already have something planned that you're going to spend it on.
Yeah.
So this way, by knowing when you make it, that's why you're making it. You have less tendency to spend it.
Yep.
And that's a little extra motivator to go out and make more money. And you can get the kids involved if you have a bunch of kids,
Mm-hmm.
I came from a big family, 6 of us, right?
Yeah.
So, you can get the kids to do stuff. They can have a car wash or sell lemonade or do babysitting or whatever they do, and then they can add their money to the egg fund for their Disney trip. So that is an additional way to help you save for Disney. Instead of trying to figure out how you're going to get out of your regular check when you already have a hard time paying your bills out of your regular check, look at it as all extra money that I make is going to automatically go there.
Exactly.
Okay. And then of course we have the cookie jar, change jar.
Yes.
And there are a lot of different variations on that too for coming up with money, which.
There was actually one that I've heard of. There's a couple of people do things like this. The cookie jar, change jar, where you drop in, like the change jar is a good one. Every time you come home and you have quarters, dimes, nickels in your pocket, pennies, you pop them in a jar, you take your pennies.
You have a cool little bank like that?
Penny bank, essentially, and you just let that build up. That's a traditional, classic way to do it. There's some people don't go through that in the same way. Some people don't have a problem with change, but they decide to find more interesting ways to save. I have a friend who, whenever they do laundry, they pretend like their laundry is a pay machine, and they drop in 4 quarters in the piggy bank every time they do a load. And after X amount of time, there's quite a bit of money saved up. Or you could just simply, every time you empty the pockets when you do the laundry, you could put the change in the jar. Same thing.
Now I remember at one time when I was working a lot, when I was in the military, that would have worked really well for me.
Yes.
Because it seemed like I always had change in my pockets
Yes.
when I went to do the laundry.
That always worked
And
for
it would
us.
fall on the floor or whatever. Yeah, so we used to keep the change. Now we used to keep it so that at the end of the month,
Yeah.
we had money at the end of the month.
Yeah, so that way we could make sure we had the extra gallon of milk at the end of the month
Yeah,
or what
that-
have you.
Yeah, some gas or whatever.
Yeah.
But it would be very easy to just, instead of earmarking it for gas, you would be earmarking it for Disney trip.
Exactly.
So yeah, you could do the swear jar like you mentioned.
Swear jar is always a classic one as well.
Or doing favors. Okay, every time I do a favor for you, you got to put it in the things like that. People find creative ways to just save a teeny bit at a time, and even though you don't think that's much, it can add up.
25 cents a day. After 4 days, you got $1. That'll add up pretty quick.
Another thing that people suggested was rather than saving your money in that way, to actually use savings. So what they were saying is things like if you clip coupons, for instance, and you can some people get really extreme with the couponing. Now, I mean, back in the day when I spent a lot of time couponing, I would probably save a good $17 a month on my grocery bill. Of course, I shopped once a month for the most part, so you could divide that up if you shop more frequently. But $17 a month may not sound like much, but here's the thing. Instead of when you get your receipt and it says you saved $17, yay, instead of just ignoring, leaving that in the account or whatever, you say, okay, I saved $17, that's $17 toward my trip. You take that $17 out and you put that in your savings, however you're saving, whether it's by credit card or savings account or what have you. So you're sort of rewarding yourself for saving. You're not actually spending any more money than you would because you saved that money out of what you were going to spend anyway. I think this works particularly well either for people who do a lot of couponing or for people who've never couponed, because this now suddenly
gives them a good reason to.
Right, exactly. So now you're doing something you weren't doing
Every
before.
$1 off coupon you get, you're like, hey, that's $1 more I can put toward my trip.
Exactly.
There's another idea on that, another spin on that. It's not quite the same thing. In fact, we currently use it. I don't know if you're aware, but Wells Fargo, other banks have it too. They have a savings account called the Way to Save.
Yes.
And for every transaction you do, they take $1 and they put it in your savings account. And you can set that up, and so every time you spend some money, puts $1 in there, and you saves up for your trip that way.
Yeah.
A couple of credit cards also do a similar thing to the change jar, but digitally, where they will round up to the nearest dollar, whatever your transaction is. Take that change and put it into a savings account for you.
That's kind of cool.
I think that's a tremendous idea. That's
I
my favorite
because
way.
it's a way you don't really notice that you're doing it, and if you don't think about it, you won't be tempted to spend it.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It almost is like forcing you to save.
Yes.
In a nice way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not painful to spend 25 cents, $1 or $2 at a time.
Yeah.
What would that buy you? A soda at most?
Yeah.
But it gets real painful if you try. I mean, it's really hard sometimes to, at the end of the month, write a $25 check to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, God, there's so many things I could do.
$25.
With
That's
that's
almost
some
a tank
grocery
of
money
gas.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, tough thing to do. Along that same idea with the couponing, a lot of people are suggesting using. They say use your credit card points. That if you spend X amount on your credit card, they give you X points for travel and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So that's one good way to kind of come up with a little extra money for your trip or a little extra discount. There's also a lot of programs. You get airline miles if you travel by airline much, which most of us can't really afford to do, but if you do, that's an ideal. There's also a lot of different programs, like Coca-Cola has these little codes that if you enter them into the Coca-Cola website, you keep doing that all year, every time you get any Coke product, and it's not just Coca-Cola, it's their water, I think it's Dasani or whatever it is.
No, Aquafina.
Aquafina, okay. Their teas, various drinks like that, all have these codes. Pepsi sometimes does it, but I don't think right now they're doing it, but Coke's been doing this for a long time. And then what you have to do is you have to go on there quite often, because generally when they offer anything to do with Disney, it comes and goes really fast, like it's gone. But if you're on there all the time, you can catch discounts for tickets, sometimes discounts for hotels, discounts for airfare, things like that. So that's another way to slash the cost of the vacation. So it's like money. It's not money, but it's like money.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, using points or these Coke rewards or whatever reward system that you want to go with, and lots of places do it. A lot of grocery stores have them too. There are points and reward systems now. And if nothing else, at least it'll give you a discount.
Yes.
And a discount, even if it's $25, is $25 more that you have to be able to go on your trip than you would have had otherwise.
I mean, and remember when we were saying about the aluminum cans, it just occurred to me, even here, even with the way we do it, if we took in our bottles and cans for our refund,
yes,
we could take that little ticket and say, okay, let's say it's $2.75, instead of putting it with the change when we buy our groceries and just giving it right back to the store. If instead we got cash for that, and that amount went into our Disney savings, and we could just tell ourselves that that's how we were going to save.
Yeah.
Even though they're really just giving us back our money, it's money that we would have just piddled away on something anyways.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Now, for larger ways to save, bigger amounts, obviously, than probably what you're going to get from a change jar. You could try starting a GoFundMe account.
Oh, that's
or
Indiegogo. Or
there's
many other crowdfunding
there's at least
options
3 or
out
4
there.
of them out there that offer these kind of personal accounts. And you can do it a couple different ways. You can open it to only friends and family if you want.
That's interesting.
So, and that way you just let everyone who knows you know that you have this account open and that you're using it for this purpose. So, similar to the gift card ideal, if they want to give you a birthday present, maybe you're getting ready to graduate and you're from one of those families where everybody gets graduation presents.
Yeah.
Not my family. We can't afford to give those kind of presents. But, or a wedding or something like that where you're going to get lots of gifts from lots of different people, that's the perfect time to open an account like that and let everybody know, you know what, you could pay for our honeymoon at Disney.
Yeah.
Just deposit and rather than we'd rather not get, a toaster or what have you. $10, $200, Indiegogo gives you a lot of flexibility there.
That's true.
And it even gives you a way to track it and to say thank you to them, and you can post videos and things on that site. All of these various funding sites offer those kind of programs. So I think that's a kind of a neat way. I've seen a few people do it that way. Now you can also open it up for the general public if you want to, and you can make a general appeal and stuff. I don't know how successful you're going to be with that. Some people have been very successful and some not so much. You do have to be aware that if you open yourself up to public donations and things like that, you also open yourself up to public criticisms and comments. And sometimes people are kind of mean. So if you don't have some compelling story why people think that you should be doing that, sometimes they're kind of mean and they'll say mean things.
Not everyone's accepting of that idea.
Yeah. But you could have great success with it, and some people do make a lot of money on it. So it's, and a lot of it depends on how personable you are and how many friends you have and how active you are online and things like that. I've never been successful with that sort of thing because I don't have friends.
Right.
Nobody likes me. I'm grumpy. The other thing that you could do, especially if you're saving for like 2 or 3 years out or more, is instead of putting your money in a savings account, you can actually buy savings bonds, particularly Series EE bonds, because you can buy those in denominations as low as $25. So here's the thing: if you put $25 on a savings bond, once it matures, it's worth $50. Now they take a while to mature,
Yes.
and so that can be frustrating for people. It's a long time before it's really worth anything. I mean, it pays almost no interest until it's fully matured, but it's guaranteed to double, or almost guaranteed, not 100% a guarantee, but it's almost guaranteed to double. When it reaches its face value. So if you are planning to save for 3 years out, then it's well worth it because you're not going to get that kind of interest on any kind of account.
No, and they will not be good for at least a year or two anyways.
Yes.
So.
And you can't really cash them too soon.
No.
So that's a really good way to kind of keep yourself from being tempted to spend them because of that. And it's really cool visual reminder. It really encourages you because when, you've spent $25 and you get that savings bond in your hand, it says right on it, $50. And that's like, wow, I'm double, it's just a way to really sort of energize you and encourage you to save that money, even if you're not so good at it normally. So that's one that's kind of like, well, should I choose the savings account or should I choose savings bonds? And that really is dependent upon your personal situation and how soon you're planning to go. Which one is going to pay you better interest rates. The savings bond is not going to pay you much interest rate at all if you're saving for only like a year or 18 months. Not worth it. If you're saving for 2 or 3 years, it very well could be.
Yes.
So that might be a better way to go for some of us. And that's one, when we have done that. We have used savings bonds before, and they kind of helped us a lot in tough situations. Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we covered all of our ideals. Did we?
Maybe.
Okay, well, these are the ones that we have for now. There are hundreds of different ideals, and if you go online, look on some of the great chat rooms and suggestion boards, you'll see all kinds of ideals, and if you want new ones, all you have to do is ask, and people will be very happy to volunteer all the ideals they've come up with to help them save money.
Yes. So, this has been the Two Grumpy People 10 list on
ways to save money for your next Disney trip.
keep saving, folks. Next time we'll talk about something.
Probably not this, but something else. Well, I thought you might have some more ideals, but you're not very helpful.
I wasn't very helpful.
I'm a terrible puppeteer.
You're also a terrible voice actress, so.
Shut up. Stop yours. Wow, I'm so fuzzy. Can't see it at all.
Oh no, it's go. Oh, there it goes. Tinkerbell.
I should do like Claire does. She always shoots in good spot. That's how she ends all her videos.
Okay.
German. Shoots in good spot. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it means something like to your health or some shit.
Schlutz is invisible.
Might as well be saying that for all of me. I don't know what the heck it means. I'm gonna put this in. Putting this back up.
Excellent.